Coming up, the Splash Mountain Princess and the Frog reimagining is on its way, and I'll let you know the latest I've been hearing from sources there. Demolition is now underway on the Spirit of Aloha dinner show as Disney clears the area for a new modern-style DVC tower at Disney's Polynesian Resort, and the lights go on at Tron. All that and more on the way. This is Mickey Views News.
All who come to this happy place, welcome.
Now I'm the king of the swingers, oh, the jungle VIP. I've reached the top and had to stop, and that's what's bothering me.
First up in the news today over at the Magic Kingdom, there's been a lot of hubbub lately surrounding the reimagining of Splash Mountain to Princess and the Frog, a project that was announced back in the summer of 2020. We haven't heard a whole lot about since. Disney has done occasional updates, but has mostly been quiet about it ever since they originally announced it. A couple weeks ago, the actress who voices Tiana teased that the overhauled attraction will open in 2024. Disney refused to confirm this and said they will give us an update next month. They'll be giving us an update in July here, so we'll be on the lookout for that. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss whatever we end up hearing. As soon as it happens, I'll bring it to you guys here. Now, for what I have heard in regards to all of this, shortly before that 2024 date slipped, I tweeted out a seemingly out of the blue message saying, hey, get over to Splash in the next few months if you want to check out the current attraction before it's gone. And I'll just say openly here, if you want to go check out Splash Mountain at Walt Disney World before it closes here, you need to go to Walt Disney World in the next 2 months. After the summer crowds are done here, all bets are off and Splash could close literally any day between the end of the summer and the time that Tron opens. Anytime in that window, we could see Splash close. I have not heard of specific dates, but I know after the summer crowds are done, Imagineering, a lot of people at Disney, they want to get started with this project, and it's really park operations who's going to have to deal with this capacity hit at the Magic Kingdom, at the world's most popular, most visited theme park. They have to deal with the fact that one of their most popular attractions is going to be out of commission for a long time. So of course, they're pushing for it to close after Tron opens, which will eat up some of that missing capacity and help with the crowds and manage things like that. Let's say Tron opens at the beginning of 2023. If the capacity concerns win out, we could see Splash survive into next year. But there's no guarantee of that, and we are now getting past the time where, you know, there's all this development work going on and Disney's not ready to start the reimagining. They are about ready to start the reimagining here. So after these summer crowds, anytime after that, as I said, all bets are off. So definitely make sure you get over Splash before then if you want to ride it one last time before they do this reimagining. Whatever the case may be insofar as when Splash will close here, this update is happening. It already is happening. The last time Disney talked about this project, they teased there will be some new animatronics, like this boat one that you can see in the most recent art. I have heard that the new animatronics are already being put together for this attraction update. There aren't many of them. I told you guys a year ago, I've been hearing that most of the current animatronics will be ripped out entirely because there isn't the budget to reskin, reprogram, repair them, anything like that. I'm guessing we're gonna be seeing the inclusion of a lot of projection and other cheap digital effects to attempt to enhance the current version and get this thing done as quickly and cheaply as possible. This Splash update, it is what it is. You know, I will definitely miss Splash Mountain. Growing up, this was one of my favorite rides at Walt Disney World, and a lot of its detractors lately have tried to belittle its status as a Disney classic by pointing out that it's much more recent than other attractions that we call classic that are more closely associated with Walt, that Walt had involvement in the creation of directly, but the characters featured in this attraction meant a great deal to Walt, and I think that this attraction is one of the most intricate, complete attractions that we have at Walt Disney World, where not only does it incorporate a lot of the classic Disney show techniques with the animatronics and the practical effects and all the sets everywhere and the slow ride portions, but you also have that fusion with the contemporary desire for more thrill rides, similar to Tower of Terror, which is another incredible attraction at Walt Disney World that similarly has that main course meal kind of feel to it, to me, where it feels like no expense was spared, and it's just amazing that we even got this attraction. I very much feel that way about both Tower of Terror and Splash Mountain, where it's like, wow, this is still going. You know, it's just so awesome and so incredible. You look at the ride system for the Tower of Terror, you're like, how did they ever approve this, for Walt Disney World. The other ones are more budget cut around the world, but Walt Disney World is just insane. And same with Splash. It's like, wow, this is really a true Disney attraction. They did not spare a lot of expenses here. This is a long ride and people wait a long time for it. Right now, as I'm speaking at the Magic Kingdom, there's over an hour wait, of course, for Splash Mountain. The queue eats up a lot of people, the ride eats up a lot of people, and soon it won't be eating up any people, and that's something that Disney's going to have to contend with. The aesthetic is memorable, the music is memorable. Non-Disney people know what Splash Mountain is more so than they know what Haunted Mansion or It's a Small World or Peter Pan's Flight are, thanks largely to those on-ride photos, which you always see all over social media. You can find them on families' mantles, you can find them on teachers' desks across the country and around the world. And strictly on a monetary basis, Disney is not in great shape right now. And it's not just because of Bob Chapek, but it's also because of Robert Iger. Bob Iger, he acquired 21st Century Fox for $71 billion, and that put an enormous debt on the company, this huge burden that Disney's had. And then he leaves the company going into a year where their cash flow was severely crippled due to the parks not being open. The parks are a big part of how money moves through the company. So the parks aren't open, the events of 2020 unfold, and Chapek has to deal with this. So a lot of stuff that we blame Chapek for, a lot of it is definitely warranted, but some of it is really not his fault. That's why I sometimes call him a fall guy, because a lot of the moves that he's making, he's really just dealing with problems that were the sole creation of his predecessor. And now Chapek's left, picking up the pieces, trying to figure it all out. Disney's also having to double down on their investment in Disney Plus over and over again, a service where the year it'll theoretically become profitable will continue to move back and back and back as production costs continue to rise and subscriber growth is not very impressive. So taking all this into account, the debt, the Disney Plus situation, the world economic situation, you take what limited money you have to invest in new things at the parks, a pile of cash which gets smaller and smaller by the day as the economic situation worsens. You look at Disney's stock, you look at the broader market, and instead of adding something new to the park, instead it goes towards closing and ripping stuff out of a current ride, hurting park capacity while it's down. And once all that money is spent and the ride reopens, now you're just back to the previous ride capacity you had at the Magic Kingdom before you spent all that money. So there is no return on investment here for Disney that I can see. Maybe you can get a few more people to come to the park because they want to check out this new Princess and the Frog ride, but it's really not a new ride. It's a reskinned ride, essentially, and that's really all it is. Regardless of how you may feel about the change itself and Disney's reasons for it, I'm speaking of the change strictly fiscally here, at a time where the fiscal is really crucial for Disney because, as I said, it's not really in the best shape right now. I just can't imagine CEO Bob Chapek is looking at this and thinking like, yes, this is a great investment. We're going to make so much money off of this. And as a result, I think that this is going to be a very low budget reimagining because there isn't that return on investment there, but Disney feels they have to do it. So put two and two together? What do you think we're going to get here? Do you think we're going to get an amazing new attraction, or do you think that we are going to get something where they rip a bunch of the current animatronics out, they put in projections, they put in a couple new animatronics, which is what they show on the TV and on the news or whatever? Call me cynical, but I'm just a little concerned about how this is going to end up, but we will see, and I do think that this is going to come quite soon. We give CEO Bob Chapek a lot of flack, and he deserves it with how badly he's managed parks creative. He hasn't treated the Imagineers very well. He oversaw some of these garish changes that we've seen done to the hotel rooms lately. Apparently now Bob Chapek wants to modernize the Grand Floridian lobby, which is so offensive and just shows how little these people understand the product they're in charge of. Modernizing a Victorian hotel, it's just disgusting. It's like, why are these people even in themed entertainment? Why don't they go work for Hilton or Marriott? That's probably where they get these people from that are doing these projects. A lot of this is just as much Parks Chairman Josh D'Amaro's fault, by the way. He's the one directly overseeing a lot of what I think are bad decisions here. But getting to the point, what I was talking about before, I really doubt in Chapek's heart of hearts he thinks these splash updates are going to contribute anything monetarily to the company. And as a result, you're going to see a low budget gutting of a current attraction where they do just enough where they can say, hey, we did it. So regardless of what your feelings may be on, is the current Splash Mountain culturally outdated? Hopefully I've highlighted some of the shortcomings on the dollars and cents end of things. And if you're one of those people that is super excited about this reimagining Disney's going to be doing, get ready, because this should not be a super long closure. I think Disney's going to try to get this done as quickly as possible once they close Splash because of those capacity concerns I was talking about. I expect both Splash Mountains, both Walt Disney World and Disney Disneyland to be down for this reimagining quite soon. I'm not 100% sure on what the deal is with Disneyland. We don't really have many sources there, but as far as Walt Disney World goes, it's going to be sometime end of summer to when Tron opens, whenever that is. If that's in 2023, maybe Splash will survive a little longer, but it's definitely closing here soon. And that 2024 reopening, that sounds pretty real to me. We'll see what Disney has to say when they do this official press release in July, when they talk about the latest on the project soon here. We'll have to see what they have to say. By the way, speaking of this overhaul already being underway, if you look at Splash right now, the left half Disney recently refurbished. I swear Disney's already started changing the facade to how it's going to look for this Tiana ride. If you look at the left side of Splash Mountain at Walt Disney World right now, it's a completely different color than the right side. Hopefully this comes across on screen, but in real life you'll definitely notice this, especially when it's sunny out. On the right side you have that Georgia red clay, deep south look, fitting more with the current theme of the attraction. Then if you look on the left, you have more of a bayou kind of look color-wise with the dirt. And they also redid the grass on the left side, which now incorporates flowers, which is perhaps suggestive of the update you have here, where the ride will now be revolving around Princess Tiana. Something interesting to note there. While we're on the topic of Splash Mountain, let me know what you guys think about all of this. Next up in the news today, I already went into the hotel aesthetics rant. I don't know how I got into that while we were talking about Splash Mountain of all things, but viewer Charlie sent in some photos here where you can see from the monorail into the Spirit of Aloha area, the former Spirit of Aloha dinner show area, where they are just ripping that area apart. That show really gave some life, some authenticity to the Polynesian resort, really putting the Polynesian in the Polynesian resort. Now it is all being demolished, as you can see here. In its place, we will be getting that previously announced DVC tower, which is very modern in style, which has been roundly admonished even by people who are usually very receptive of Disney's changes. I think it's becoming more and more clear to people that there is a disconnect between the fans and the older Imagineers' concept of what a theme park and a themed environment is, where the idea is you transport people to another place, another time, you make it as immersive as possible. And on the other hand, what the hotel people Disney's been recruiting from Vegas or whatever, what they think a themed environment is. Their idea essentially seems to be you take a normal modern building like any eyesore you'd see in a strip mall in any town USA, and you add little accents to it, and that's the theming. So you're in a modern room in a modern hotel, but the wallpaper will signal, hey, maybe we're at the Polynesian. But other than that, it'll just feel like just that, a modern hotel. The idea being people want a modern hotel because modern looking hotels, they feel newer, they are newer, they're more clean, maybe you can charge more for them. You know, maybe people think, oh, this is the newest thing, I want to go here. And then you just put little patterns, little accents on the building and in the rooms, and that's the quote unquote theme. Then you look at the rest of the Polynesian, where it is quite clear inside and out, the shape, the size of the buildings, everything screams theme. You are in a themed environment. It is immersive. The Polynesian theme is not an accent, it is the resort. It's a shame that we are moving away from that idea and more towards this idea of just having nondescript modern looking things with little accents on them that tells you it's Disney or it's themed or whatever. I'm not opposed to a modern style hotel necessarily. If you go through all of the hotels Disney's done at Walt Disney World, they all sort of have adhered to the style of the time. A lot of these classic hotels that define the Disney look are very 70s style, so there's nothing wrong with Disney doing a modern style hotel, but it should be immersive, it should be well themed, and it should be its own thing. If you recall, Disney was going to do that Reflections Lodge, a lakeside lodge, that Reflections Hotel, that one, and they ended up not doing that. That DVC property, that was canceled due to some reasons having to do with the land, I believe. I believe that there was a problem with the land that they were going to build that on. It was not buildable. Here, Disney is putting a modern style DVC property on Polynesian grounds, and they're pretending that it fits in with the rest of the Polynesian. So I think that's a big part of the concern here. It's not just that it's this modern style, it's that Disney is incorporating it into the Polynesian resort, acting like it fits, and judging by the concept art, I'm not sure that's really the case. So that's the situation there. RIP Spirit of Aloha dinner show. Too bad. Capping off the news today with something very positive and exciting. Finally, the lights have been turned on at the Tron coaster in the Magic Kingdom. The nighttime lighting on the canopy looks really, really good. We've seen colors so far range from deep blues to bright pinks, and so far there have been different combos of these lights featured throughout the testing where one part of the canopy is pink and one part's blue, or it's all blue, or it's all pink, or it's a mix of the two, all sorts of stuff. They've definitely been doing a lot of testing and things there. The lights were turned on near park close on Friday, and then they were on again on Monday night, where you can see viewer Derek sent in some awesome views of the canopy lit up here from over by the Tomorrowland Speedway. I hung around the Magic Kingdom on Sunday because I knew Disney was doing this testing, so I was just waiting for the lights to go on and capture some footage for you guys, but it didn't happen. I was there in the Magic Kingdom, you know, through the fireworks, through all the crowds, waiting for something to happen, and it just didn't. But the last few days, they have been on every single night, and there have been some important people in suits spotted up there on the flyover guest pathway, checking out the canopy lights, checking out the latest work on this attraction. Some really cool stuff. Imagineering released a couple photos from the guest walkway, which hopefully we will be walking on soon once this attraction opens, where you can see what it looks like from underneath the canopy. Ride testing is continuing here. We'll do an on-location construction update soon. I'm going to wait a little longer because as of right now, not a whole lot has changed on site visually since our last on-location update a few weeks ago. Tron opens hopefully late 2022. I am getting a little concerned that October opening idea that's kind of been floated out there, that might be too bullish. And the reason I'm thinking that now is because I've been hearing from some people that the inside of the attraction still has a lot of work to go, and that a lot of the work has been concentrated on finishing the exterior, which may be giving us a false idea of how far along this attraction actually is. Whatever the case may be, Tron does not have that far of a ways to go, so whether it's fall 2022 or spring 2023, Tron is finally opening soon here, and I am very, very excited for us to see it. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe with those notifications on. Thank you so much for watching. I have been hard at work on some more sort of, long-term projects. I've been working on some more documentary style stuff, so bear with me here. We have some amazing stuff coming later this year, which you guys are going to love, and of course, we'll keep you up to date on all the latest news as well. Again, thank you so much for watching from the Mickey Mouse Magic Studio. This is Brayden. Have a magical day.